Hello guys, it's Astraya and welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new speed build. So it has been a while since I have done a speed build on my channel. I have been really focusing on the stop motion builds. I just find them a lot of fun to film and honestly they're quite therapeutic, which can kind of come in handy at the moment. But basically, I wanted to go back to doing speed builds for a little while, or I just wanted to try one out. I haven't actually done more than this one. And I did actually film this right when Eco Living came out. But if you guys follow me on Twitter, you might already know this, but I was actually in a car accident about 2 weeks ago. So things have sort of taken a bit of a toll on me, and I just had to take a little bit of a step back. I needed to heal, really. I needed to get better. I needed to focus on my own health for a little while. But I am feeling much better now, and obviously this build has just sort of been sitting in my folders on my computer and nothing's been done with it, so I'm finally recording the voiceover for it and getting it out to you guys. I really hope that you like it. It's quite colourful on the outside, but the inside is really light and airy. There's a lot of like neutral tones and everything on the inside. I kind of think it's a little bit weird maybe what it is that I've done with this build. With the Eco Lifestyle pack, there's different classifications for the different items and even for the different, wallpapers and stuff like that. They have like an eco rating almost. So you get stuff that is industrial, or stuff that is neutral, or stuff that is eco. And this build has, quite the mixture. There's an awful lot of the eco stuff, but obviously the fact that it's a container home, that is seen as that is seen as industrial by the game. So those wallpapers are industrial, but the way that I have decorated the house is eco. And I also put down a lot of energy generating items as well. So that should help the sim that lives in here, or the family that lives in here, because it is fit for 3 sims. It should help the family that lives in here pay for their bills and that kind of thing. So the layout for this one was a little bit difficult. I kind of realised I had intended it to almost be like a tiny home. Which if it had just been the 2 containers, it kind of probably would have fit in that. But adding the third one, it added all this extra room that I kind of didn't know what to do with. So figuring out the layout for this was a challenge, an interesting challenge, but I think that I rose to it. It was harder than I expected, and it took me longer than I expected, sadly, but it was good. Yeah. So that space out the back garden, I feel like this lot is much bigger than it needed to be. I feel like the lot could have benefited from being like a 20 by 20 instead of a 30 by 20. So that space out the back garden doesn't actually end up utilised. It is actually, well, not utilised for garden space, but it is used for solar panels, basically. That's where some of the, energy production happens out the back with the solar panels. And instead, all the gardening space is either on the roofs of the two ground floor containers, or in the space in between the 2 ground floor containers, obviously on the ground floor. I have a lot of stuff for gardening in there, actually, which is quite interesting. And yeah, I like how it's laid out, and the plants in this new pack. Oh my goodness, the items in this new pack are brilliant. They are basically everything that I could have asked for. I'm so happy with the items in the pack. The only thing is, I really, really wish that they had given us kitchen counters. I feel like the kitchen area was so lacking. I mean, we got 3 couches, I think. 3 couches and either 2 or 3 beds, both with, with double and single forms, and yet we couldn't get kitchen counters. What? Like, come on, what is that about? That doesn't make sense to me personally. I honestly think that it could have, they could have maybe taken one of the beds out and allowed us some kitchen counters, because we haven't had new ones that are, nice in a while. Really, the kitchen area is lacking. But I did what I could. And I would also like to point out that this build, it is only Eco Living and base game. So there's no other packs in here. I really wanted to showcase the Eco Living, but obviously, as mentioned, there are some areas where they don't have items to fit them. So there is a mixture of Eco Living, or Eco Lifestyle, because that's what the pack is actually called, but Eco Lifestyle and base game. So yeah, I obviously, you think of eco and plants and green. So there is a little bit of a trend of green throughout this house, but I think that it works. I don't know why I like those lime green countertops and cupboards so much, but I do. I think that it really works for the build. I'm not mad at it. I'm happy with it. I hope you guys are. But definitely, my favourite thing about this pack has got to be the clutter items. There are so many decoration items, and it was sorely needed. We've needed more clutter and more plants, of course, for a very, very long time. And I'm just glad that we finally got them. And also, the lighting for this pack is really, really pretty. Like the new lights that you can add to the room. And usually I'm not a fan of adding like that yellow tinge to the light in my builds. But for this it just sort of worked. Also, if you're hearing like a little bell in the background, that's my cat. It's her dinner time, and she's demanding fed basically. Literally as soon as I finish this voiceover, I'm gonna have to go and feed her. But okay, and this is a big tip. There are other couches in the Eco Lifestyle pack, and I couldn't for the life of me find it. So what you actually need to do is you need to put on the debug items. Applying the debug items cheat actually allows you access to the fabricated items without obviously having to go through the process of fabrication. So I actually end up going back and changing that about, because they're really nice couches and they work really well. So you guys are probably seeing what I mean in terms of the layout of this place being like a little bit weird. So over in the first container you have the kitchen, you have a big family dining area, and then there's like a seating area, so that could almost be for entertaining, if you're eating and sitting at the same time and talking to each other. There's a bookcase there for if you want to sit in there and read while other people are in there cooking or eating, that sort of thing. Whereas over in the second container here, this place that we have just finished is more like the actual, living area. And I end up putting a little office in here. I find this space, this empty space that we're playing with just now, to be really awkward. And that is me just figured out the debug thing, by the way. So now I'm going back and I'm changing everything, like, cute. There's a cute bookshelf, and then I found other couches, so I swapped them about. And I really like this couch. I think it works really, really nicely. But yeah, so this space in here was really awkward, and then I found the fabrication machine and everything, and I realised, okay, I need to put an office in here. And that desk was not fitting in that space nicely, so that entire room becomes dedicated to being like an office. So I hope you guys are now starting to see what I mean in terms of the decorative items. They're really unique in a lot of different ways, and they're really, really pretty if you find, especially that big wall plant, the full wall plant that has like the purple and orange bits in it. If you've got like a specific colour scheme going for your room and everything, that sort of, the combination of, the green, the purple, the orange, it can really throw it off. So you need to, it's almost like it's like a niche item. It's got a very small niche that it fits into nicely. And yeah, you need to figure out where it is that you want to put it. But I did want to use the item somewhere in this build, it just wasn't really working in the other rooms. So it's in there, it's next to the desk in the little office, and then the fabrication machine is there as well. And of course, I'm doing a bathroom just now. I really struggle to talk about bathrooms because I really struggle to build them. I just have like a list in my mind, so, you know, you need a toilet, you need a sink, you need some clutter, and then that's it, you know, it ends up there. I just put them in and I think, where does it fit the best? And that's how it happens. And I did really like these new sun loungers. We don't actually have a lot of options for sun loungers, and I'm really happy with these new ones. They fit the pack perfectly. And I just like that, you know, she can be up, the sim that decides to live in this, or you decide to live in this, they can go out there and they can stretch out and everything, and they've got like a really nice view of the city. Even though, you know, the city currently is all grungy and full of industrial places. Yeah. But that's fine because I did play around with it for a little while before I took the screenshots, and it's pretty easy to, you know, to fix the neighbourhood. In fact, just having all of these eco items actually kind of shifted the balance pretty drastically. So for this I've done like a little girl's room. It's a small room, it's probably, it's definitely a single room, you would not fit a double in here. But it had loads of room for toys and the teddies for her and everything, and even for a desk for her to study. So I think that it's a perfect size for her. Even the double room is actually quite small as well. But of course, they are living in a container home, so I feel like that sort of comes with the territory. I also feel like I don't understand why the container home items are industrial. I feel like it's actually an eco thing, you know, to take the industrial waste, you know, the leftover containers, and actually turn it into a functioning space. I feel like anybody that actually took the time to do that for their home would actually be quite an eco-conscious person. So, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I sort of feel like the container homes are quite eco-friendly anyway. So a tiny bit confused by EA's classification there, but I am not going to argue with them. They know what they're doing. I'll trust that they know what they're doing. But this bed, this double bed, is really cute. I love like the little cushions, especially that knitted one right in the middle there. It's just, it's like, it's cozy. I don't know how to describe it. It's cozy, and I also really like that lamp as well. But the only thing I will say is, again, like with the matching bedside tables, where is it? Where is it? Why don't we have one? And there's one that matches the fashion, but it doesn't match the colour scheme. So it's difficult. I have issues, guys. I have issues with it. But we are now onto the screenshots, so I do hope that you enjoyed this build. If you did, could you please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!